Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which is based off the 1970 book of the same name. The movie is about a young preteen girl named Margaret Simon, who moves with her parents from New York to New Jersey. She's trying to figure out how to fit in with this new school, make new friends, but also she finds herself on a journey to discover her own religious beliefs because her mother is Christian, her father is Jewish, so she's kind of caught in between both religions and trying to determine for herself what she wants to be. I have never read this book, but I have heard of this title several times through cultural osmosis. So when this movie was coming out, I kind of got hints of 8th grade, which I didn't particularly like myself. But this movie is directed by Kelly Fremon Craig, who directed the excellent Edge of 17, which if you haven't seen that movie, it came out the same weekend as Fantastic Beasts in 2016, so you should definitely find time to check that movie out if you haven't. It's also being produced by James L. Brooks and his production company Gracie Films. You know, that logo you see at the end of every Simpsons episode where the woman in a movie theater goes, "Shh." And every time I see that logo, I just want to shout out, "Don't shush me, you rich bastard." The point is, I didn't read this book. I didn't know what to make of this through the trailer, but I did like Edge of 17 quite a bit. So I went into it with the best of intentions, optimistic that it could be good, and I was really surprised that I liked this movie as much as I did, because I am not this movie's target audience. I'm damn sure that the book was not targeted for people like me, a 30-year-old white man. But the movie is a really great coming-of-age film, much like with Edge of 17, except this movie deals with pre-teens in elementary school rather than teenagers in high school. Your main character is played by Ryder Fortson, who was the original Cassie Lang in my opinion, the good Ant-Man movies. She's really great in this movie as Margaret. And there's a lot in this movie that, considering who I am, I didn't relate to, and I'll touch upon that a little bit, but there was a lot that I actually could relate to when it came to this character. It's something that no matter what gender you are, you can relate to growing up. Moving to a new area, trying to make new friends, and especially in the case of this movie, trying to figure out your religious beliefs, if you have any. Because the movie does talk about religion, but it doesn't come across as preachy or in your face like a faith-based movie. I mean, I wouldn't really consider this a faith-based movie at all because it deals with finding your identity regardless of what your religion is. A big element of this movie is that Margaret's mother, played by Rachel McAdams, who is great by the way, has parents who disowned her because her parents, who are hardcore Christians, disapproved of her marrying somebody who's outside their religion. And when you get to the realization and you see how this plot point plays out further into the movie, it really hits hard and it can be really tough to watch. I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the channel, mainly because I try to steer clear of religion and politics as much as possible, but I was raised Christian, and one of the things that really irks me about other Christians, not all of them, is that some of them will use their beliefs to justify terrible decisions or outlandish behavior. And in the case of this movie, the thought of Christian parents disowning their own daughter because she married someone that's of a different religion it pisses me off. Like, it's something that really irks me, and that helps with this movie because it makes the drama and stakes that much more relatable and intense. But that's all I'm going to say in terms of religious aspects. It really works in this movie. Now, the only things I really have to say in terms of criticisms are not really criticisms at all. They're just personal things I have based on who I am and who this movie's target audience is. There are several points throughout this movie where Margaret and her friends talk about things like buying bras or getting their periods and what it's like experiencing it for the first time. And that's something that, as a 30-year-old guy, I don't need to see. I don't need to see that, but that's my problem. And that's okay that the movie is able to talk about these things because I'm not the target audience. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think about with those particular moments because I'm not the film's target audience. But It's an accomplishment for a movie to appeal to those who are outside its demographic, because Are You There, Margaret is a great coming-of-age movie, has great performances throughout the movie, and I didn't even mention Kathy Bates. She's always good, and she's fantastic. Despite the things that I personally felt uncomfortable watching, I'd say it's worth seeing in your lifetime. Considering how underwhelming this year has been in terms of movies, this is one of the better ones I've seen. I don't know if it will stick around for my top 10 at the end of the year, because the last half of 2023 could very well surprise us all, but right now, this is a big contender for one of the best of the year. And there you go, that's my review for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And before I go, I want to give a special shout out to Tessa Smith from Mama's Geeky for hosting an early screening for this movie. I did see this a week before the movie came out, and the only reason why I'm reviewing it the day of its release is because there was a lot in this movie that I just had to sit back and think about before actually reviewing it. But thank you, Tessa, for the pre-screening. And now I want to know what you guys think about this movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.